Remember to always start rehearsals on time.
When working with minors, you must be an example of a good role model.
Always make sure that you dressed appropriately around learners.
Remember, the vocal health of your student is more important than winning a prize.
Be prepared for each rehearsal so that you can reach your goals.
There is zero tolerance for substance abuse in the workplace, especially when dealing with learners.
Respect goes both ways, so be mindful of others.
Remember to always lead by example. Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be discussing the basics of understanding your score. Remember that we are expanding on the basics that Chad talked us through in Module 2. So if you haven't seen it yet, please do so now. Let's start off with picking some specific markings that the conductor is in charge of indicating. On top of our time signature, tempo, and dynamic markings, we may see other symbols such as these. Fermata. This symbol means pause or hold the note that it is placed over. This means that it does not go in the tempo of the rest of the music. It is up to the conductor to indicate the hold or pause and when to release it. For example, I would show the hold like this. We get to the hold and we come out like this. We go. A ritardando. This means that we are slowing down slightly, and we normally find this at the end of the piece or at the end of a section. If we are working in quadruple time, 4, it may look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and out. Staccato and legato. Even if each singer on their own knows how to sing staccato or legato phrases, it is necessary for them to all sing the same at the same time. We can use techniques to indicate staccato and legato passages, such as staccato, very light, detached, and pointed. And of course, we can do a similar thing for legato notes, such as very round and smooth. Then, depending on how staccato or legato those phrases need to be, we can change the intensity of our actions like this. For something very small and light, and for something more intense, it might look something like this, but without accentuating the music. It is up to your interpretation of the score to see how intense a staccato or legato a passage should be. So, remember to take these into consideration. Time signature, tempo, genre of music, and the singing style. Remember that we want to honor the composer and the music they have written. So, how do we take this and apply it to the music we want to master? Before we look at the notes, the time signature, and the tempo, we must ask ourselves the following questions. Do I know the piece? If the answer is no, consider listening to recordings of it. I'm sure you will be able to find it online. Try not to watch videos, as you might pick up something from a conductor without knowing why they have chosen to do it that way. What genre is the piece? Is it an opera? Is it an art song? Is it a pop song? These will determine how we approach interpreting our score. A pop song is easy to play and experiment with, but a classical piece is normally written as the composer intended. It is up to us to honor that. Who is the composer, and do they have a specific style? The same way that two artists on the radio do not have the same style, two composers may have very different ideas for their music. Try and read up on the composer or listen to any of their other works so you can get a feel for their style. Why was the piece written? Even though Verdi and Mozart had different styles, they both wrote requiems, which are normally performed in holy ceremonies when someone has passed. Is the piece from a requiem? Is it from a religious work? Or is it meant to be funny, serious, celebratory? These answers will help us understand the piece before we have picked it up. Let's start off by looking at the front page of our music. Here I have a copy of Most Beautiful Appear from Haydn's creation, which I got from the open section category of the 2020-2022 ABC Motsepe South African Schools Choral Eisteddfod prescribed repertoire. I can see that our time signature is 2/4 time, which means we'll be using the duple time conducting technique. Remember, this looks like the letter J. I also see that our tempo marking is moderato cantabile, which translates to a moderate tempo in a singing style. From this, I can see that our metronome should be somewhere between 86 and 97 quaver beats per minute. You can always look this up online if you are unsure. This means that our tempo will look something like this. Next, I can see that we are starting with an upbeat and not on the first beat of the bar. This is important because now I know I have to give a very clear pass to the pianist. When dealing with an upbeat, it can be useful to breathe with the instrumentalist or singer so that there's a clear indication of where they need to start. Try something like this. If I look further down the page, I can see lots of different dynamics, mostly forte and piano. It might be a good idea to highlight these in different colors, all the forte markings in orange and the piano in blue, for example. That way I can see from a glance what dynamics I should be indicating. Now, I know from Sing Like a Pro modules 12 and 13 that phrasing is crucial for the singers in this piece. So I want to make sure that I also know where the phrases start and end, so I can practice how to show this to the singers. I also want to make sure that the singers have enough time to breathe between phrases. This shouldn't disrupt the piece, but I would work with the singers to make sure that I give them enough time. The fun part about this piece is that there are parts where the singers sing individually and some where they sing together. What I want to practice here is making sure that I give each singer their entrance. So, with my right hand, I will maintain the beat and tempo, and with my left, I will indicate to the singer that it is their entrance. Enter. I may not need to do this the more we practice, but it is a very useful tool to have. Towards the end of the piece, we see a passage with not one fermata, but 3. These are all very close together, so the composer is telling me that this part of the music does not follow the tempo at all, and it can be interpreted in a number of ways. I might interpret it one way, but someone else may think of something different. As long as it makes sense and does not disrupt the piece, you can interpret it how you wish. The only way to really master score interpretation is through practice. Use some of the past ABC Motsepe Saskia repertoire and try to approach the piece as if you have never seen it before. Mark the score and practice how you would conduct it before watching a video of a choir and see how well you did. You can also practice with other choral music that is not prescribed. Have you heard a piece that you want to try and teach your choir? Use it. Or maybe something that you don't like but your choir does? Try it out. This is a great way to be prepared and get to know different genres of choral music. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy each of these modules so you can conduct like a pro.